Yeah, she felt right at home. She was like, oh, it's just like being back inside my mom.
Yeah.
Because her mom had a blown-out vagina. It was as big as a well.
And we're back. Cub Scout leaders had their own ideas, and they took advantage of this little clause.
They did.
Yes.
They did.
I apologize in advance.
You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Jimmy Carter is dead. Joe Biden still alive, presumably.
Yes. I was going to go on a whole bit about Jimmy Carter being the peanut farmer and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Do it. What is he? He farmed some peanuts?
Yeah, he was like the peanut farmer. Yes. He had the slogan for his presidential thing, I want my nuts in your mouth.
Oh,
just trying to sell peanuts
yeah.
to kids, impoverished kids. You want my nuts in your mouth? It's like, no, Jimmy.
Jimmy Carter, we will say, though, he was a good guy. He was a humanitarian. He lived a long life. So this week, we are doing a special first of the year-ish episode. We chose a decade of interesting, strange, popular facts, and we chose the 80s.
The best.
We chose the 80s. We're going to get right into it. We are going to start off with Stanislav Petrov. He was the man who saved the world. He was a lieutenant colonel in the Soviet Union, which is now Russia, as you may know. And his job was to monitor the country's satellite early response missile system. He was on his shift late one night, September 26, 1983, and he got an alert that the United States had just launched a bunch of missiles at the USSR.
Nuclear missiles.
Nuclear missiles, correct. Yeah, this wasn't just like a bomb. It was nuclear missiles. His first order when this kind of thing happened, as it would be for any country really, would be to immediately fire their nuclear missiles at us. The sirens were howling. Big red screen said launch. It was telling Petrov to launch back at the United States. According to an article from the BBC, it was an interview that was done in 2013. That's what he'd been trained to do. He was trained to, if this system went off, you launch nuclear weapons at whoever's sending it.
And that was protocol. That was no questions asked, hit the button, and light it up.
Right. Now, this was a new system. It wasn't something that was really tested heavily. So Petrov was like, hold on. And he didn't launch, obviously, because if he would have, it would have launched the world into a nuclear winter and would have triggered a full-scale war. So after a few nerve-jangling minutes, Petrov did not launch nuclear weapons back. He judged the reports to be a false alarm, and his subsequent decision to disobey the orders that he had were correct. And he saved the world.
Yeah, isn't this crazy? This should be taught everywhere. This is way more important than anything else in history classes, and nobody knows about it.
Yeah, it's not something that's that I knew about. And Petrov, he's just like, that was my job, and that was it. He died in 2017 at the age of 77. He was recognized by his country with lots of awards, recognitions of bravery and things like that. So, even though he may not be as well known in the United States, at least his own country recognized him to some extent.
Yeah, he should be recognized everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I told you before, he had a lot of medals. I'd fucking pierce those on my nuts. When I go jogging, it sounds like wind chimes. I'd let everybody know who I am.
Yep, exactly. So
I saved the world.
I saved the world, yeah. He had to tote around his nuts in a wheelbarrow.
Yes.
Because, Russia didn't fuck around. Like, if you disobeyed orders, you're in the gulag,
Yeah.
But he did it, and he prevented what could have been the end of the world. Next thing we got here is the eradication of smallpox. Smallpox goes back possibly to 3,000 years. Egyptian mummies were found with rashes and different things that suggested that they had smallpox. The World Health Organization declared on May 8th of 1980 that it was extinct. The last naturally occurring case was in Somalia, 1977. What's messed up is they still have stockpiles of smallpox in labs.
Where?
There's one in Russia. Thank you. I'm glad you asked. There's one in Russia and in Atlanta.
And Sonny Hostin's thong.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, right.
so.
And there's a concern that why are they keeping these? Why is the government keeping these vials of smallpox?
Yeah, get rid of it.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't get rid of it. No, keep it.
Why?
Just in case.
Because you want to control the population by killing
In
them?
case there's another Native American huge boom,
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
gonna.
No.
Yeah,
Yep.
you want to kill.
No.
You want to kill the natives.
No.
Yep.
No.
Whatever.
No.
I'm telling the Cherokee.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's several vials is still in existence. So the disease does not exist in humans, but it still does exist.
Isn't it interesting that the vials are being kept in two very kind of controlling countries, the U.S. and Russia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably some guy in Somalia still has some too, in a Coke can.
oh yeah.
Good for him.
I hope you listen to our podcast, Somalia. Want to hear from you.
Email us.
Yes.
Yeah, email us before we get canceled at gmail.com.
That's with 2 L's.
Yep, 2 L's.
That's perfect.
Next guy we're going to talk about is Michael Larson. He was a gentleman that was on a game show called Press Your Luck, and he was from the great state of Ohio. He was a bit of a dirtbag. He was running scams in his early years, as early as middle school. He would buy candy bars and then he would sell them for more than what they were worth. And he would, this is kind of good, I think. He would open bank accounts and LLCs, businesses in like family members' names, and then he would hire himself as a member of that company. And then he would fire himself, and then he'd be like, "Oh shit, and he would collect unemployment."
Genius.
I mean,
That's
he's there was going to be a movie about this guy. It never came out, but it was said to potentially star Bill Murray. I would have watched that.
Yep. Not a stretch either. Bill,
No.
just be yourself, you piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard that Bill Murray is an asshole on set.
Totally.
Yeah.
Him and Chevy Chase. Like,
They were-
these two fucks
Yeah.
are assholes.
They were. So after he would fire himself and he'd collect unemployment, and so he loved this TV show though, Press Your Luck. He went on the TV show eventually, and he memorized the patterns for the Press Your Luck board. It's kind of funny. He kind of spent his last few bucks on a bus ride to get to Hollywood to audition for this. He bought a dress shirt at a thrift store for 65 cents, and he used this story on the executives, and they were like, "Oh, that's kind of funny. That's sweet. What a cool guy."
Yeah, they weren't going to put him on the show, and then
Yeah.
he brought this sad sob story, and they're like, "Oh, we'll put him on there," not knowing Rain Man over here has got the whole
Right.
damn thing memorized.
And he did. And in 1984, he won the grand prize, which was about $110,000, which is equivalent of like $332,000 in 2025. And he used a lot of the money to pay back taxes. He invested in lots of failed real estate deals and some Ponzi schemes. And he eventually lost all his money in 2 years. In 1995, he fled Ohio because he was being investigated for fraud by the FBI for a $1.8 million multi-level marketing scheme.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Shocker, he's from Ohio.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Assholes. Years later, he was found in Florida, and he actually died in 1999. He's only 49 years old. So,
What he died from?
he had throat cancer, I believe it was.
All right.
But yeah. So yeah, that's old Michael Larson. Next one we're going to do is, this is one Scott was suggesting, Garbage Pail Kids. Not the Cabbage Patch Kids. Those are the ones at your mom's house that we have to steal back.
Yes. And we will.
And we will. In 1985, the Topps Company released a series of sticker trading cards. They were designed to parody the Cabbage Patch Kids with the Garbage Pail Kids. And they were super popular. Each sticker card featured a Garbage Pail Kid having some comical or abnormality, deformity, suffering from a terribly painful fate, death, humorous wordplay, names such as Atom Bomb or Blasted Billy.
These were dark. These were messed up. Everybody had them when you were a kid. It's like, oh, and the gum that came in there was hard as a rock, of course.
Yeah.
But, oh my goodness.
Wait, so it was like a package of cards with gum in it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like trading cards.
A lot of cards had gum in them.
All right.
Yeah. There's our ultimate trading cards. You can trade with your friends, like skinless for hygiene. Like skinless is a person that's just ripping his skin completely off his body. It's shown right on the card.
Yep.
Hygiene's some Cabbage Patch Kid look-alike that is shaving so much he's peeling layers of his skin off. So
They should have done foreskin.
Yes.
Where he's like peeling off his wiener.
Yes.
Hasidic Jew.
Yes. So they should have new ones like Grossy Pelosi.
Yeah.
Just has Nancy Pelosi getting out of the shower. Or Bullet Ridden Brian, the CEO from the healthcare.
United Healthcare.
United Healthcare, yes.
Yes.
And awesome. Who's that guy from One Direction? Liam Payne.
Yeah.
Who fell out the window.
Yep.
Liam Pavement.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
It's be awesome ones like that.
So the first run of cards, it contained, it had 41 cards. There were 15 sets released during the 80s here, and a total of 620 designs. After the initial series run, the Garbage Pail Kids would be retired for 15 years. And it's come back, though. In 2003, the brand did return. They keep designs with a satiric edge.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Parroting the present pop culture, and to this day, they're still in business. There's supposed to be a television show coming out, so that should be weird.
Oh, that'd be a messed up animated show. What,
Yeah.
on HBO Max or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's going to take a couple years to come out, but yeah.
That'll be something. Yeah.
Yes.
On January 28th, 1986 at 11:38 a.m., the Space Shuttle Challenger launched from Cape Canaveral with 7 astronaut crew members aboard.
Flight control, countdown confirmed.
Its primary missions was to launch a data satellite into space and the Halley's Comet. They also were following through on the Teachers in Space program by taking 37-year-old New Hampshire middle and high school teacher Krista McAuliffe into space. When I was in high school, I told a joke in class that Krista McAuliffe's last words were, when she's saying goodbye to her husband, she's like, "All right, honey, don't forget to feed the dog, and I'll feed the fish."
Yes, because she's in chunks all over the ocean.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
And I got sent to the principal's office. The launch played on live television. There were hundreds of people watching at Cape Canaveral and many people watching on live television as well.
Start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
73 seconds into the flight, the Challenger stopped its ascent and turned into a ball of fire. And all 7 crew members aboard were killed. Not right away, though. What happened? It was a rubber O-ring. Once again, the rubber O-ring strikes again, which was it was used to seal and contain hot exhaust gas, and this caused the external tank to fail and the orbiter to break apart, and liquid oxygen, hydrogen created an explosion like a fireball, and the failure was actually due to severe cold, which made the O-ring brittle. So it makes my O-ring brittle.
Can you imagine that? It was just the weather that morning that screwed all of them over.
Yeah, crazy.
Yep.
So the crew did not die instantly, it's assumed. They likely survived the initial breakup of the shuttle, and it's also likely that they lost consciousness due to loss of cabin pressure, and they probably died due to oxygen deficiency. The cabin hit the water surface at about 200 miles an hour, 2 minutes and 45 seconds after the shuttle had broken apart. It's unknown whether any of the crew could have regained consciousness during the final descent.
That is a long time to freak out.
Yeah, very long. And the bodies broke into large pieces and were scattered across the ocean.
Imagine how they commemorate that. Have like a Space Challenger Campbell's Chunky Soup. That'd be horrible. My goodness. My favorite thing is one of them was a teacher. Let's say she was a horrible, mean, strict teacher, You know, people in the classroom, especially like little Billy that got in trouble and had to do, when I get back from this flight, you're going to be doing 3 weeks of detention.
Yeah.
I ain't doing shit now, bitch. Yes.
So the Challenger disaster, this was the very first fatal American accident involving spacecraft. The video of its launch and death is readily available. You can watch it online. The last word captured by the captain, pilot Mike Smith, was, uh-oh.
That's it. Uh-oh.
Yeah. That's fitting, I guess.
I would have loved it if it was something really dark, like, which one of you bitches is going to suck this dick?
Yeah.
And then boom.
Yeah. When found, the astronauts' bodies were obviously in bad shape from the impact with the water. The Armed Forces Institute of Pathology identified the bodies but could not determine the cause of death. Probably due to crashing into the fucking ocean.
At 200 miles an hour.
Yeah. The disaster cost about $3 billion. That's not including any kind of settlement money that was paid out to the families. So, yeah, the space travel is expensive. So in 1986, April 26th, the nuclear reactor in Chernobyl, in Pripyat, Ukraine, near the Russian border in Belarus, melted down. It was one of only 2 nuclear energy accidents rated at the maximum severity on the International Nuclear Event Scale. The other one was in 2011, actually, in Japan. The response and containment cost about 18 billion rubles, which is about $25.60 US.
Yes.
And it is regarded as the costliest disaster in human history. Containment to the present day has cost around 700 billion. That's billion with a B. Pripyat was abandoned and replaced by a purpose-built city, which became basically a sarcophagus for the city where the reactor was located. In 2016, Chernobyl new safe confinement was constructed around the old sarcophagus to enable the removal of the reactor debris, and the cleanup is scheduled to be completed in 2065.
Wow, they're just getting on it, aren't they?
Yeah, they don't give a shit. They're like, it's Ukraine.
Can you imagine all that radiation?
Yeah.
Insane.
There wasn't a whole lot of people that initially died, but over the years, thousands of people have died from, cancer and other related issues from the radiation. And the only reason for this event was poorly trained staff and poor engineering of the plant. That was fucking Russians.
Man, all that gross radiation. It's probably how the cast of the Waltons came about. You seen these weird fuckers?
They do look like some Chernobyl motherfuckers.
The part that gets me is the grandpa is always looking at John Boy. Always like in a weird, creepy way. You can see the front of his khakis getting a little bit tight.
Yeah, he really likes that mole on John Boy's face.
Yes. So at the end of the show, they're like, good night, Pa. Good night, Susie. Good night, blah, blah. They're like, good night, John Boy. And he doesn't respond because he's got a dick in his mouth.
Yes, absolutely.
That's exactly what's going on.
Yep. So at the center, the core of this whole disaster is just this chunk of radioactive material, and it's been nicknamed the elephant's foot. It kind of does look like one. This thing is highly, highly not good for you.
So Sarah asked, what'd you ask if you could ever go visit it? Yeah. What'd you say, Cooper?
Only if you want to shit and throw up until you die immediately.
Got it.
Speaking about that, we should go to Ponderosa. Check that out one of these days.
Yes, Ponderosa.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit about it too, how I researched when is it habitable to live in Chernobyl again. They said 20,000 years.
Yeah, it's not going to be a vacation spot anytime soon, that's for sure.
But when I looked up the picture of the elephant's foot, I swear I saw a Dollar General in the background.
Oh,
I
yeah.
swear I did.
Yeah, they already got it ready. They just got to pop it up.
What a mess.
Yeah.
You told me, how long is it with the radiation? If you were by the elephant's foot, how long would you...
I mean, you would have, if you were in direct contact with it, in the same vicinity, minutes, and you would be dead.
Good grief.
Not long at all.
This happened in 86.
Yeah.
And it's still... Wow.
Yep.
It's almost
crazy.
40 years ago.
Yeah, it lasts a long time.
There's all kinds of animals that live there. They like mutated and could.
There's mutated animals, lots of birth defects and human mutations too in the surrounding areas from, contamination of the water supply and whatever.
Maybe that's what happened to Michael Phelps. That fucker's got fins.
He does.
It's just ridiculous.
He does. But yeah, that was Chernobyl.
Whoa.
All right, and next we're going to talk about the Satanic Panic of the 1980s. Was a lot of people worried about Satan worshipers back then. Allegedly, this whole thing originated from a book that was co-written by a Canadian psychiatrist named Lawrence Pasder and his patient and future wife, Michelle Smith. It was a controversial book, and it's largely been discredited now. It described a practice called recovered memory therapy. This was used to make claims about satanic ritual abuse involving Michelle, his wife. Some allegations involve a conspiracy of global satanic cults that include the wealthy elite, in which children, they were abducted, bred, and used for human sacrifice, pornography, and prostitution, which doesn't really sound that far off. With you got Epstein and
Diddy,
Bill Cosby, Diddy.
Oh yeah, keeping it coming. Yep,
I know, right? So this whole satanic panic, it led to hundreds of investigations, convictions, and millions of dollars spent on prosecutions. Many of the accused, though, were eventually acquitted and just let go, because it was just all, you saw a person like with long hair and you're like, oh, it's the fucking devil.
Yeah, even in like 1985, like heavy metal bands such as Twisted Sister and Judas Priest were almost sued for their hidden messages in their songs that made teens want to kill themselves.
Yeah.
When the truth is, it wasn't heavy metal, it was the shit that John Denver and Boy George were putting out that made him want to do that.
Yeah, Chicago. You ever listen to Chicago backwards?
Like Dee Snider from Twisted Sister,
Yeah.
he had to, go out in front of Congress, and they all thought, oh, this big-haired weirdo with makeup, we're going to murder him. And he massacred them.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
He was smart. He had it all down to a science, and they could not rebuttal anything he was saying.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of movies were out at the time, like The Omen, The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby. There was also a group called BADD, B-A-D-D, and it was Bothered by Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons was a big thing that for some reason people were like, oh, these kids are like summoning the devil. I don't know. And even Geraldo Rivera got into this, and he produced a special on TV on alleged cults and estimated there were over 1 million Satanists in the United States. Awesome.
I love Geraldo. He was crazy.
Yeah, he was bald, right? He was a bald black guy.
No, he was that. He was the Mexican guy with the thick mustache.
Oh, yeah.
You're thinking Steve Harvey?
Yeah, I'm thinking Steve Harvey.
Yes.
Wasn't Geraldo like the mayor of like some town in Ohio or some shit too?
I think he was.
No, that was Jerry Springer.
Really?
Yeah, Jerry was a governor or
right.
mayor or
No,
something.
he was a mayor. I don't think he could have made it to governor.
Okay.
Oh my. Yes.
But yeah.
I always wanted Geraldo to shave his mustache so his whole fucking face would cave into his upper lip.
Oh yeah.
That mustache held everything up.
And it did. It held it all together.
He's funny.
I
Yeah.
wonder what he's doing now.
I don't know.
Geraldo, he's probably, I don't know, eating a tamale somewhere. Picking it out of his mustache.
There was a huge Christian boom in the early 80s, and that's kind of where all this stemmed from. Of this, who's right, who's wrong, who's immoral. Tipper Gore, of all the people in the world, she stumbled upon her daughter's Purple Rain album and listened to it and found it to be such filth and horrible. So she got her little husband, Al, involved, and they started what would they call the parental advisory.
Oh on CDs
Yep.
and albums and different things. Yeah.
Which backfired tremendously because when people saw, explicit content and all that, they wanted
They
more
wanted
of it.
More. It was like a status symbol almost. Like you weren't, badass
weren't
if you
cool.
didn't have that.
There would be no NWA if it wasn't for Tipper Gore.
I was about to say that. There wouldn't be.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel bad for Al Gore because he's probably spent the last 30 years hiding his 2 Live Crew tattoo on his back.
Yeah, it was a big thing. Anyone that looked different, that these evangelicals or whatever, they were just like, it's the devil.
And they made everything forbidden fruit, and you can't do that because
Yep.
they're going to break loose.
Yep.
It's not good.
Not good. All right, so next we're going to talk about Adam Walsh, who was the son of America's Most Wanted host, John Walsh. He was a 6-year-old boy when he was kidnapped and murdered, and it became one of the infamous crimes of the 80s, not only for the shock and horror of it, but also the lasting effects that the event had just on the general public. He was abducted from a Sears department store in Hollywood, Florida, July 27th, 1981. So that was shortly after I was born. It was pretty brutal. The murderer cut off his head, which was found 2 weeks later in a drainage ditch alongside a highway in a rural Indian River County, Florida. But they never found the rest of him.
Nope.
That's insane. A convicted criminal, a longtime bad guy named Otis Toole, actually confessed to the murder of Adam, but he was never convicted of the crime. The crime evidence was reportedly lost, which is crazy, which we'll get to here in a second. Toole later recanted his confession, and it was found that Toole and he had an accomplice, and they both gave a lot of like false confessions during their lifetime, which is a kind of a common thing for high profile cases. They call them confessing Sams. They want the notoriety.
Yeah, they already know they're in for life, so let's just get all the accolades.
Right, exactly.
It's like LeBron trying to act like he did everything Michael Jordan did. Oh, I got 6 rings. And it's like, no, you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Toole eventually died in prison of liver failure in 1996. This is kind of interesting. So Jeffrey Dahmer was actually investigated in connection with Adam's murder. The detectives eventually concluded that although Dahmer was staying at a hotel in Miami Beach at the time of Adam's abduction, he relied on public transportation and did not have a car and would not have really been able to commit this crime. He was interviewed by police about the case, and he stated that he had not killed Adam and was not a pedophile. He just liked dudes.
Yep. Does he have an older brother? That's probably what we kept asking the detectives. Does he have an older brother?
Right, that's awesome.
Creepy.
So no new evidence has come to light since then. The police announced in 2008 that the Walsh case was closed and that they were satisfied that Toole was the killer. It's just a small town police station. Like, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They weren't equipped. They lost so much evidence. They lost a car, right?
They lost the entire van, and they already said the van inside had blood in it. The carpet was covered in blood.
Right.
They can't find that. They can't find anything.
Yeah, that's crazy how you lose a whole ass car. So in the book Tears of Rage, which was written by John Walsh, he wrote that they were a tiny local police agency, limited resources, and it never manned a search anywhere near the size of what this would have required. He did have a gut intuition that mistakes were being made and everything seemed very chaotic and disorganized. Yeah, no shit.
I bet they were like so disorganized and stupid. They got Adam's name wrong. Kept calling him Arnold. They put up posters of the guy from, what is that? What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, it was Gary Oldman or whatever.
Have you seen this sweet African American boy?
Yeah.
That's how fucking stupid they were.
Yeah.
So even Adam Walsh, what happened is he's at Sears, his mom, because this is the 80s, and parents didn't give a shit about their fucking kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop you off in Montana. I'll be back in 2 weeks. Don't get diddled. Okay, so he's playing some video game with a whole bunch of other kids he doesn't know. These kids are being rowdy in Sears, so the manager kicks them out. Get out of here.
Yep.
So Adam Walsh leaves the store, and he stands outside of the mall, and then Toole, he comes rolling up with promises of a puppy or candy or something. Somebody saw Adam get into this white van with this guy that 100% looked like Toole.
Yep.
And that was the end of it. And nobody listened to this guy. Yeah, right. We'll see about that.
Yeah. It's just nobody was looking for that kind of stuff back then, you know.
No.
Yeah. So over the years, Walsh claimed that the police lost critical evidence, which we already kind of covered. But yeah, they impounded Toole's car, and there was blood all over the goddamn place, and they lost the car. Or the van, you know, like, you can't test it.
That's how competitive car lots are for used cars back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Get it, take it, clean it, go.
No shit.
Goodness.
So John did become, obviously, a very strong advocate for victims and people that have crimes. And as we stated, he is the host of America's Most Wanted. That's a crazy story.
I worked with a guy named Roy that lived in Florida around that time, and he remembers these kind of things.
I'm sure it was, especially in the community, it was all over the place.
Yeah.
Big. I mean, all they found was the kid's head, which is tragic.
How do you rebound from that?
Yeah.
How do you become a John Walsh and be so strong and, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Just think of all the good that's come from America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Big time.
They've helped find lots of people.
I heard an article. These people were watching America's Most Wanted, and they had like friends and all that over, and everybody's watching it. And then this one dude is on America's Most Wanted for like a murder. He's in the fucking living room. He gets up and runs out. I was like, okay,
Time to go.
You're busted.
Yeah.
How crazy would that be?
Yeah, that's nuts. But yeah, that's Adam Walsh.
All right. And now we're going to talk about things I found crazy about the 80s.
Yes.
Rat off a whole bunch of them. We're going to go in chronological order from 1980 till 89. In 1980, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back comes out, and the famous line when Darth Vader says to Luke, "I am your father." This was pivotal because it was the first time a black man owes up to being the father without Maury Povich telling him so.
Yeah. Can you imagine how angry people were? Like Darth Vader, the biggest, blackest man in the galaxy, and then they take off the mask and it's like a wrinkly, pruny white dude.
Yes. That's devastating.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of Star Wars, Sarah one of these days is going to have to do her Yoda voice.
Yeah, she does a good one, but she won't. Let's see if she'll do it. Yeah.
We'll get her to do it.
Yeah.
We'll
She sounds just like Yoda.
Yes.
Nice little space frog.
In 1980, I found this totally awesome. Rosie Ruiz won the Boston Marathon, only to find out that she just ran half of the last mile of the race. She was seen by 2 Harvard students shooting out of the crowd of spectators a half mile before the finish line. Other runners were baffled that she wasn't covered in sweat and didn't seem tired at all. And the only reason her shirt was wet was from the tears when her win was forfeited because she cried, "It's not fair."
Yep.
She was offered thousands of dollars to run it again to prove her innocence, but she declined. And the best thing is she never returned the medal. To this day, she still has it.
She was probably just in the woods, taking like that marathon runner shit.
Yep.
They
Yes.
just shit themselves, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take a little bit of time off."
She didn't get the memo. You're supposed to just let it run down the back of
Yeah,
your legs.
you're just supposed to let it go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is what I would call the Kamala effect. Because this chick only runs 1/10 of a race, is illegally pushed to the front of everybody else, and then when she loses, she still thinks it's not fair. It's
Yes.
exactly Kamala.
Yep.
So you're telling me to this day, this Rosie lady
She did shit
stands
herself. Yes.
by...
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. She stands by the fact that she won
Actually ran it
a
in cheat.
legit race.
There was no sweater. Everybody else around her, they had like wobbly polio legs.
Yeah.
Sure.
They were
I mean, a marathon. Yeah.
profusely sweating, gross. They like had their heads all bent down. Yeah, like they left a Diddy party. They were done.
Yeah.
And-
They needed IV drugs and fluids.
And she's just hop skipping like the Pope at a Cub Scout convention. Just bippity bippity. Yeah, they were like,
Yeah,
something's
she,
up.
She cheated. for
Something's up. Okay. Also in 1980, on January 16th, Paul McCartney was busted with weed in Tokyo. It's not said
shit.
how much, but it was quite a bit of weed. Tokyo didn't give a shit who he was. They were going to sentence him to 9 years of forced hard labor in
Yeah.
prison.
It wouldn't be all strawberry fields forever at fucking prison camp there.
No.
Paul.
He was in jail for 9 days.
Yeah.
Freaking out.
Really?
I'm sure he
Oh, yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Being famous and have money though gets you out of anything.
He's in Tokyo. I bet he fucking blamed Yoko for this.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was definitely Yoko.
No question.
She set the whole thing up.
Yes.
She's like, "Kid Paul, he's got some fucking drugs."
He probably that was his phone a friend. He calls and just says, who's on the other line? John Lennon or something. Yeah, let me out, Yoko. Even though he's been dead for 2 months after that.
Right.
Also in another country, a cow in Cuba named Ubra Blanca was a hybrid cow. And this cow produced 29 gallons of milk in 1 day. Not to be outdone, when Dolly Parton heard about it, she was like, "Hold my sweet tea. I'll show you what I can do."
Dolly Parton does have some big ass titties.
Woo! Good grief. Yeah. How she doesn't have back problems.
I'm sure she does.
Oh, yeah. That's
She just has Kenny Rogers like holding them for her like all the time. He just supports
Mr. Motorboat.
That noise was Cooper holding up the boobs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's me fondling breasts.
Very heavy. And 1981, the best thing ever happened to America and the world. The McRib came out.
Oh shit, yeah.
And then it came back in 85, and then came back in 86, and 87, and 94, and 2006, 2007,
Right.
and so on.
Yeah, they always say, "Oh, this is it. This is the last chance."
Yeah. You're never
going
gonna
to bring
see
it back the next year.
Yes. So the McRib is kind of like cancer. You never know when it's coming back, but you feel like you've undergone 3 rounds of chemo after eating it.
Yeah.
The McRib made it okay to call in sick. Yeah, boss, I ate a McRib last night. And your boss is probably like, good grief, who's going to raise your kids when you're gone?
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone or your life insurance adjuster. This will be claimed as a suicide.
Yeah. Just say no more. We get it. You ate a McRib.
I don't even know how they can still sell them. Like, this is horrible.
Yeah, I don't know who's buying them. It's just nostalgia, right? Like people are like, "Oh fuck, the McRib's back."
Yep. I remember I had dysentery so bad I lost 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Also 81, big news. Sandra Day O'Connor was nominated as the first woman to the Supreme Court. Not to boost feminism or to give a different view. It's just the other justices were sick of waiting for so long for the sandwiches to be made.
Understandable.
Yes.
Understandable.
I'm hungry, bitch. Yes, that'd be horrible.
Yes.
Another big thing. In 1982, John Hinckley shot Reagan. He did this to win Jodie Foster's heart,
Yeah,
even though Jodie Foster was like 9.
She was like 12. Yeah.
Gross.
Super young.
Yeah. Decades later, Diddy killed Tupac to ruin Justin Bieber's ass. So I guess love is a silly thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So John Hinckley probably saw Jodie Foster in like Taxi Driver, right?
Oh, yeah.
And was like, "Oh shit, she's hot." But yeah, she was like super underage.
Wasn't she like a prostitute and a taxi driver?
She was.
Oh my goodness.
It's great. Yeah. It's just, yeah.
It's cool when you see the video of the shooting, of like the assassination attempt. This guy he shot off like, 2 rounds, and people out of fucking nowhere had Uzis in their hands.
Oh yeah.
That Secret Service was on it.
They were.
That was awesome to see that.
Yeah.
Also, in 1982, John Delorean, the owner of the Delorean car, which was famous for being the time machine in Back to the Future, was busted for trying to traffic 55 pounds of cocaine.
Oh, Jesus.
That is $24 million worth of cocaine. It was a desperate attempt to save his failing businesses. They allowed him 2 phone calls, and they were both to Doc Brown, hoping he can fix the flux capacitor and undo this mistake.
Wow.
They have it all in video.
24 million and 55. Was it in a DeLorean?
Yeah.
Jeez.
They had it all on video, too. He's just talking about, yeah, let's do it. Okay, yup.
So when I was growing up, a few doors down, one of my neighbors actually had a DeLorean. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, he probably had a bunch of cocaine in it.
Yes.
but yeah, it was cool. He would never really drive it. He would just like pull it out of the garage, park it in the driveway so like everybody could drive by and see how cool he was. And they're cool. Like DeLoreans are completely like stainless steel. So like they don't rust and shit, you
They're
know.
awesome.
I mean, they're cool looking, yeah.
The doors open the right way.
Yeah.
Heck yes.
I've never seen one. I'd like to see one.
Yeah. You never seen Back to the Future?
Cooper hooked me up. I've seen the movie. I've never seen one in person.
Oh, well, they looked about the same.
So he's just showing off his car.
Yeah, he was just flexing with
Just be
his
out there
car.
like in a banana hammock just washing his car all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. Heck yeah. Also, 1984, the first successful frozen embryo was on ice for 2 months. It was a huge deal. Just 60 days, and they can still take this out and create a life out of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, to date, the longest record of an embryo being frozen is 25 years.
Wow.
Her name was Emma Gibson. She was born in 2017. Her new baby smell was freezer burn. No question.
Gross.
25 years, dude. That's like Gordie Howe's entire career.
Yeah.
It's fitting because she looked like a hockey player. She had no teeth and a face made for catching hockey pucks.
Yes. Wow,
Wow.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Science is crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. In 1982, Times Magazine's Man of the Year was a computer. As
Yeah.
crazy as that is. And in 2024, Time Magazine's Man of the Year was Donald Trump.
Oh.
But, and a very close second was Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
So,
Michelle Obama is definitely a man.
what do they call him? Big Mike or something like that?
Yeah, she's got a big dick.
You saw that video where she's like doing whatever that weird dance is on Ellen?
Yes.
And it's just...
And all you can see is dick.
It was like they filmed the film Anaconda in her fucking
They did.
khakis.
All right, guys.
Good grief. I'm telling you. Obama's, yeah.
He's a lucky man, I guess.
Yes.
You're revealing a
time.
lot right now.
If he but he probably likes big dick women.
Yep. That's why he was all over Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
He was all about that.
He loved it.
Michelle, your penis is out again.
It's really big.
Ugh. In 1983, the TV show Manimal debuted. This is where that was awesome.
Yeah.
A grown man can turn into any animal to solve crimes. Now there's talk about a remake where one detective turns into a whale and the other a horse's ass. They cast Kim Kardashian and Alec Baldwin to save money on special effects and makeup.
Yeah.
That was a cool show.
Yeah. Joe Biden is like the commander.
He's the sloth.
Yeah. He sleeps most of the time.
Just walk around. Yeah. That's great. In 1983, the Cadbury Bunny made its TV debut. It's a bunny that balks like a chicken. It's not the first animal to emulate another animal. Look at the view. Even though Whoopi Goldberg sounds like a jackass, just know that bitch be lying. Also in 1983, Casio hit the market huge with designer watches. They had a new slogan called, "What time is it?" It's time to grow a mullet, leave your kids out until 10 p.m., worry all summer long who shot JR, and do a line of Coke off a TV guide with a picture of Little House on the Prairie on it.
Yeah. Right after you came out of like the Ponderosa and like smoked a pack of Marlboro Reds and like a case of like Miller, you know, the banquet of beers.
The banquet of beers. Heck yes. I was creeped out about Michael Landon in Little House on the Prairie, how he'd like stare at the middle-aged daughter all the time.
Yeah.
Trying to lure her into the field behind the barn all the time.
Yeah, he wanted to fuck her.
Yeah. What's Amish cock? I'm going to show you what Amish cock is, but we got to work for it, honey.
You know all that time you spent churning butter? Do that with my penis.
He was in a show called Highway to Heaven.
Yeah, he was.
I wonder if he had like a tattoo above his like belly button that had an arrow pointing down so the kids would know. Oh, goodness. Good old Michael Landon. In 1984, William Potts, a member of the Black Liberation Army, hijacked a plane with a note saying, "We're going to hell or Cuba." Cuba's a shithole. The passengers were visibly let down when they realized they landed in Cuba 3 hours later. He was sentenced to 13 years in prison for that.
Jeez.
But,
just going to Cuba would have been, punishment enough.
Yes. My goodness.
Yeah.
My favorite is this McDonald's 1984 Olympics promotion.
Yes.
Amazing. They had a thing called "When America Wins, You Win." Every gold medal that America got would get you a free Big Mac, a silver medal would get you free fries, and a bronze medal would get you a free soft drink.
All right.
When Russia, China, and other countries boycotted the Olympics because of American values and their American ways, it became a runaway for the USA. They raked in 174 medals. That means that's 174 free items for every single American.
Right, so millions.
Millions. It cost McDonald's so much. To this day, they still won't reveal how much.
Wow. So you could just walk into McDonald's and be like, I want my free hamburger.
Yep.
You sons of bitches.
Yep. Carl Lewis fucked you over. Yes. So, yeah.
Wow.
They're talking tens of millions of dollars it cost.
Yeah, I can imagine, because like everyone was like, shit, we can go get dinner now for free.
Yeah. Everybody.
It's not going to be very good, but it's free.
So when they should change the slogan to "When America Wins, Diabetes Wins."
Yes.
Got Wilford Brimley all fucking dancing.
Diabetes, yep.
Continuing in 1984, the buckle up law was introduced. Everybody had to buckle up now by law. Def Leppard's drummer Rick Allen lost an arm in a horrible accident where his seatbelt was improperly fashioned. It tore his arm completely off.
Jesus.
Tore it off. After the accident, they had their only number one hit, "Pour Some Sugar on Me."
Yep.
Ironically, sugar is a blood clotter, so maybe that's what he was fucking yelling the whole time, and that's where they got the inspiration from.
Yes.
I also wonder, because it's their only number one hit, I wonder if they hit like a creative slump and they asked their drummer, "Hey, Ricky boy, how much do you use that left leg?" I mean, really, Rick, how much do you really use that?
They needed the inspiration. Yeah, something.
Yes.
If the only way we can get a number one hit is for you to lose a limb, then you're going to have to lose it, man.
Yes. So he'd be like a quadruple amputee.
Hopefully it wouldn't be his leg that he uses for the bass there, right?
Yeah.
He's already drumming one-handed.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
What's gross is he shows that nub. He like has those tank tops and the weird nub. There's a huge like weird crease inside the nub.
Yeah.
They didn't make it all rounded out and all cute. They made it where it's like he has a fucking badge on his armpit
Yeah,
or something.
it does look weird.
Ugh. Good old Ricky boy.
Yeah.
Also in 1984, Coco the gorilla learned a sign language.
Oh, yeah, old Coco.
When her best friend, this gorilla had a best friend that was a kitten, was hit by a car, she signed language to her, what are they, trainers and all that?
Yep.
She signed language bad, sad, frown, and cry. And these are the same words that describe Nancy Pelosi's boudoir pics.
Yes.
Yes.
Very, very
But Coco was a...
soft also would be one of them.
Yes.
Because nobody's wiener was hard, for
Repulsive.
sure. Yeah.
Yes. Gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
That'd be so bad. Would have rather looked at pictures of the Holocaust.
Yes. The Holocaust would have been preferable.
Yes, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Coco was such a big deal. She was also visited by celebrities such as Leonardo DiCaprio, Robin Williams, and Mr. Rogers. Coco looked the most devastated when Mr. Rogers left, and her owners couldn't tell what was wrong because Coco never learned how to sign language sodomy. So
I remember that Mr. Rogers episode, I think, where he was on with the 8.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers was awesome.
Yeah, the mailman comes in. He's like, oh, why the fuck are you in my house, mailman?
Yes.
What was his name? Mr. McFeely. Mr. McFeely. Is,
Yeah, ha! That works out well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Like, why are you in my damn house? That's what I would have said if I was Mr. Rogers, but he was all cool with it. Mr. McFeely, the pedophile.
Mr. McFeely. You can't make that shit up.
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
guess. Also, in 1984, Wendy's came out with the huge slogan, "Where's the beef?" It hit the airwaves. It was a monster thing.
Yeah.
By the sweet old lady. Ironically, that old lady that coined the phrase was a 60s porn star whose big hit was, "Where's the beef?" So if you watch a commercial, she's looking around and you can see her confusion because she's not looking for burgers. She's looking for dicks.
Yes, absolutely big ones.
Yes. My favorite, everybody had it back in the day, was the clapper. Came out in 1984. Awesome thing. Everybody loved it except for abusive husbands. They hated it because when they'd backhand their wives, the lights would go out. And it's annoying as hell.
Yeah.
And that's where the phrase, "I'm going to knock your lights out," came from.
It makes perfect sense.
You know, if Ike Turner had like 5 of them.
He did. The whole house goes dark. As oh shit, old Ike's back is at it again. All the lights are off.
Tina's running her fucking mouth, looks like a strobe light. Just on, off, on, off, on, off. That'd be great.
Oh man.
Cool fact, 1984 was the greatest year ever in the 80s. And if anybody disagrees with me or wants to agree with me, let me know.
Yeah, email us at beforewegetcanceled@gmail.com.
Share your stories. Van Halen, who were known for being crazy party animals, they spent more money on beer than they did on the entire production for the video for Jump.
Jeez.
That's just beer.
Yeah, and his pants were super tight in Jump, so
Yes. I guess he was a black belt. Did you know that? David Lee Roth was a black belt.
I believe it. He's flexible. He's flexible as fuck.
Yeah.
See him doing those jump kicks in the fucking video?
That's why, Eddie Van Halen had a problem with David about everything. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to beat his ass. And everyone's like,
Yeah.
No, you're fucking not.
Yeah, no, you're not.
you're about to get lit up by Diamond Dave.
Yeah, right.
Yes. In 1984, Band-Aid was founded by Bob Geldof, the same guy who helped with the We Are the World with Quincy Jones.
Yep.
Weird about We Are the World, Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson wrote that. And I don't know if you ever saw the documentary on Netflix. Michael Jackson just dicked around the whole damn time. And Lionel Richie's like, we got to get this damn thing going. We have like 7 days to make this song. And you're just screwing around. He'd sit in the corner and just like hum songs and all that. And one time Lionel Richie's sitting there and he's trying to do a melody, trying to get a tune right. And he keeps hearing a hissing noise. He looks over, there's a snake. A python or a boa constrictor, one of those, big, on the loose. And Michael's like, oh, you found Freddy or whatever his name is. There he is. Like, what the hell, dude?
There's Ethiopians dying of hunger and you're fucking with a snake.
So, this Band-Aid was created to fund anti-famine efforts in Ethiopia. Bands like Wham, Duran Duran, and U2 sang, Do They Know It's Christmas? I love that. Instead of singing about the plight and devastation of world hunger, they need to make sure these dying Ethiopians get their holidays straight.
Right.
It was a huge hit, but their second song, What Are These Starving Fuckers Doing for Thanksgiving? Not so much.
Yes, not so much.
That's just wild.
Yes.
85 was great. MacGyver debuted. Awesome show. Was a huge hit. Everybody loved it. The actor's wife said after 22 years of marriage, he never gave her an orgasm. And he replied, I'm going to need a bobby pin, a piece of gum, and a gas mask stat.
Yeah. I saw a picture of that actor, and I don't know his name, from a MacGyver. It was just like TMZ picture. Something, you know, he's gained a lot of weight, and he was like standing next to like his broke down car. I was like, "Oh fuck, come on, MacGyver!
Yes.
You can't fix your damn car."
Yes. He's fixing everybody else's problems and just ruin his whole life.
Yeah,
That was a good show. That was cool
a
as
good
hell.
show. It was.
Also in 1985, Chris Forbes from Forbes magazine, who's a billionaire, bought a 1787 bottle of wine believed to be Thomas Jefferson's for $157,000. Fast forward, 20, 30 years later, in 2005, billionaire Bill Koch bought the other 4 bottles from the same batch as Forbes for $400,000. Good old Billy wanted to have them tested for authenticity, and they were deemed fakes.
Oh damn!
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
$400,000 is like pocket change though when you're a billionaire.
Yes.
But still, yeah.
I could not believe that. I would be furious.
Yeah, it was just like Mad Dog 2020 or
Yes.
something. It was some guy.
They should have caught on when
It
the
was-
fucking
it-
A-team was on the side of the bottle. Like,
Yeah.
all right, are you sure?
Yeah, it was just like Old English or something, malt liquor.
Had a Michigan 10-cent deposit thing on the side.
Right.
Yes. Very cool fact, in 1986, Clint Eastwood became the first mayor of a small town in California called Carmel. When he became mayor, crime dropped to 0. Not a break-in, not a DWI, not even a fucking bounce check happened in Carmel, California.
I don't blame him. I mean, he was scary. He's still scary, really, a little bit now.
Us.
In the best way.
Yeah. He's got a look about him for sure.
Yeah, you have Dirty Harry prowling the streets.
Yeah.
That should have been like a nickname for Tom Selleck's mustache. Fucking Dirty Harry.
Yes.
Yes. Also, really cool fact, in 1986, when Top Gun came out, the Naval Air Force saw a 500% jump in recruits.
Yeah. When the new one came out, Top Gun Maverick, there was also a large increase in enlistment in the Navy and flight.
I remember you mentioning how,
programs.
they brought other people in, like doing cameos, but they wouldn't bring in Kelly McGillis, who was smoking hot in the first one.
She was, but she looks rough now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So they needed animals in the ocean to portray when the planes were landing down, so they just let her swim alongside the ship.
They did.
Is that a manatee?
It's an old one too.
Yes.
She's got C-section scars.
That was so great.
You guys are pushing it now.
That's awesome. Yes. Oh, I would love that. Oh, it's stuck in some kind of netting. Look at that rope. Nope, that's her tampon. That's all that is. 1986, Len Bias from Maryland was supposed to be the next Michael Jordan. He was the second pick in the NBA draft. 2 days after being selected by the Boston Celtics, he died from a cocaine overdose. He never even took the court to play for the Celtics.
Jeez.
Rumor has it his manager was Rick James.
Yeah. Well, like you said, cocaine is a hell of a drug, right?
Yes.
And Chappelle's show, man.
Everybody did cocaine in the 80s.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I mean, I would, if I had just gotten picked by the Celtics, they were a big deal back then, I'd probably do some coke too.
Heck
But
yes.
He did too much. He did too much, though. Obviously.
I just can't believe it. I talked to a couple of people that I work with, and anybody over the age of 55 who really lived the heyday of the 80s, they told me if they said they did not do cocaine, they're a liar.
I believe
Everybody.
it. I believe it.
Ask your grandparents, ask everybody. They did it.
I believe it.
Oh my goodness. In 1986, there was a huge promotion called Hands Across America. Became a huge PSA to spread awareness about homelessness in America. If you ever seen the commercial, it has everybody holding hands across all of
Yeah.
America.
Yep.
Cub Scout leaders had their own ideas, and they took advantage of this little clause.
They did.
Yes.
They did.
In 1986, an anti-drug campaign comes out under the Reagan administration. Due to Nancy Reagan, she thought of the catchy slogan after hearing Ronald's reply to her repeatedly asking for oral. It was shortened from, "Hell no, you nasty bitch. I'd rather get shot in the stomach again. It would hurt less over stifling my vomit, trying to get that nasty aftertaste out of my mouth for the next couple of weeks," to just say no.
Just say no.
Yes. What a mess. 1987 was a very good year. Not for this reason, but baby Jessica fell down a well in Midland, Texas. She was trapped down the small well at her aunt's house for 58 hours. The locals kept throwing change down the hole, hoping their wish would be granted.
Yes.
Ironically, the same people that threw change now put dollar bills in her G-string. So I guess all their wishes that she'd become a stripper came true.
Yeah, she felt right at home. She was like, oh, it's just like being back inside my mom.
Yeah.
Because her mom had a blown-out vagina. It was as big as a well.
And we're back.
And we're back.
We're going to the well. It's all rusty and that'd be bad.
Has a weird smell.
You would know.
Yes. 1987, the AIDS quilt was created. Wow. A blanket to commemorate a disease. Didn't we already do that with the Indians with the smallpox?
Yeah, that's exactly what we did.
That's how pissed Indians would be. Like, fuck you guys and your quilt.
Yeah, fuck.
Yes.
You sold me Manhattan Island for some beads and a quilt, and you gave us smallpox. Fuck you.
1988, pivotal year, amazing year. Die Hard comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Becoming the greatest Christmas movie ever. And everybody had their own reviews, and the best review ever was, finally, the true meaning of Christmas captured on film. And that was Jesus saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, he really loved it when Hans Gruber gets thrown off a Nakatomi Plaza tower. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah. Fuck the Germans.
So, Alan Rickman, who played Hans Gruber, he wasn't even going to take the role. He was not going to take it. He was forced into taking the role by his manager because things were slowing down for him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even a big-time actor at the time, and that just...
Yeah.
He was more of a theatrical actor. He was very well known for that, for being very serious and dramatic. So he was like, I'm not going to take some weird, offbeat movie where even when they did the trailer, like a test trailer at a movie theater, Bruce Willis was a funny, bubbly guy. He was not an action hero at the time. He was doing moonlighting.
Yeah, moonlighting, right.
Yeah.
I remember.
They said they laughed. People were laughing, thinking this is a comedy.
I mean, it does have some funny moments, but yeah, I could see that. And Alan Rickman is like a British guy, so his German accent kind of sucked. But he was a great actor, R.I.P. But yeah,
he's the best Hans.
Yeah,
that was
definitely
awesome. In 1988, Pan Am flight, the deadliest terror attack in the UK, Boeing 747 was flying over Frankfurt, Germany, to Detroit, Michigan. A bomb exploded on the plane while flying over Scotland, killing everyone on board, 259 people, and crashed, killing 11 people on the ground. Wow.
Yeah. This was just the start of Boeing's problems. If it's Boeing, I ain't going.
Hell yes. Or if you're done with life and want to go to heaven, then hop on a shitty-ass Boeing 747.
Yeah.
With these doors flying off.
Yeah, they've had a lot of problems lately.
I like how all the whistleblowers are dying now. All of a sudden, they're coming up dead.
Yeah.
Healthy as a horse, and they're fucking dead.
Like, oh, you had a fucking heart attack, yeah.
Or the one guy committed suicide.
Yeah, suicide quotes.
Sure. Major air quotes on that.
Right.
Oh, goodness. In 1989, the largest milkshake was ever created. These are just fun little facts about the 80s.
Yep.
This milkshake made up of 67 gallons of chocolate syrup, 70 gallons of vanilla ice cream, who knows how much whip topping. It was considered the equivalent of 50,000 regular milkshakes. Or what Rosie O'Donnell calls a tide me over between lunch and dinner. Who wants to break dumb-ass Guinness Book of World Records things?
I don't know.
It's getting desperate. It used to be cool when people could, balance 15 basketballs or spin them in the air or something like that. But now it's
just ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting away from some of the 80s. This is not an 80s thing, but it's still interesting for the holidays that just passed us. Candy canes were created to keep kids quiet in church. They used to be straight, but bent the ends to resemble shepherd's hooks. Also, the ends were bent to stop priests from going too far in choir boys' rectums. That's where the phrase "hook me up" came from. 30% of the Catholic budget went to candy canes after that discovery.
Yeah, they loved it.
But no, they would really use them in church. The kids would just be sucking on these candy canes, so they'd just shut up and just be in their seat.
Eating candy, yeah.
Yeah. Other things I find interesting, songs that were originally wrote for one artist end up being sung by another artist.
Yeah.
Madonna's Like a Virgin, that was originally wrote for Barbra Streisand.
Really?
Yeah. Good grief. That would be horrible. Have you seen the nose on this chick?
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
If she sneezed and bent down, she'd break her own hymen.
Yeah.
That's probably where that came from. It's like Danger Zone, the Top Gun song we were just talking about. Kenny Loggins.
Yep.
That was actually supposed to be wrote for Jefferson Starship or Toto.
Really?
That would have been horrible.
Yeah.
People would have, what are they thinking? And Bruce Springsteen had a huge hit called Hungry Heart. He met the Ramones, I don't know if it was a concert or something, hung out with Joey Ramone, the lead singer, and he went home that day and in like 15 minutes wrote Hungry Heart, gave it to Joey Ramone, and he's like, no, this isn't our thing, but thank you. So then Bruce Springsteen just kept it and he sang it, and now it's a monster hit.
Yeah, then he also wrote Secret Garden.
Yeah, oh goodness, here
what
we go.
What a great song.
Just Jerry Maguire stuff. Oh my goodness.
Sarah plays that on repeat.
To punish us when we're doing something wrong.
To get in the mood.
We got to pay the price.
In the right mood.
Yeah. Another thing people didn't know is in movies, did you know that Tom Selleck was the first choice for Indiana Jones?
I have heard that one.
Wow.
Yeah. That would have changed the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that. The whole time they're looking for the Ark of the Covenant or the Crystal Skull, it's hidden inside his big-ass mustache. His top lip could have a tattoo saying Hitler was right, and nobody would even know. That's how thick it was.
He's one of few dudes that can pull off a mustache. But
he'd be unrecognizable.
He would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, he could seriously kill the CEO for that Brian guy.
Yeah.
Go to McDonald's, shave his shitty-ass mustache.
And be like, who the fuck is this?
They would have no idea who this guy is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Luigi should have done, is just shave those damn brows.
Yeah, then they wouldn't have known.
At all. I love how that chick did not get the money, the reward money.
Yeah.
Didn't get a damn dime.
Not a cent. Because she called the wrong number.
Yup.
You stupid bitch. So yeah, anyway, that is our show. We appreciate you as always for listening, and I hope you'll come back. Check us out on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram. Email us before we get canceled at gmail.com. That's canceled with 2 L's. We're on YouTube now, just YouTube podcasts. We don't have videos or anything yet. Maybe one day. Give us a follow on those so you'll be notified when we have new episodes. But yeah, thank you again. My name's Cooper.
I'm Scott.
I'm Sarah.
And we'll see you the next time.
You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.